pairs of headphones connected, so I had.
Okay. So let's start. Okay.
Okay.
So Will, I'm gonna be doing the translating job today.
Okay.
Yes. So welcome, Will Richards and Bernard Jean from Chia Network. Let's start today's AMA. We are talking about the NFT standard about Chia. So, Will, could you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, hi. It's a pleasure to be here today, guys. My name is Will Richards.
我是 Will Richards.
I'm on the developer relations team at Chia.
我在那个发展团队工作。
The primary role of the team is really to serve as a bridge between the developers in the community and the Chia engineering team to make it as easy as possible for people to develop on Chia.
我团队的主要职责是在工程师和 community 社区的这个人员之间搭一栋桥，然后让双方的沟通变得更顺畅一些。
OK， 那么小金你也自我介绍一下，因为可能有很多小伙伴还对你不熟悉。
OK，so 我拿中文介绍吧，就是我是金明来，然后我是刚刚入职，大概1周不到，然后现在是Chinese Technical Community Manager。我目前的在我认知范围内的职责应该就是帮助社区去更好的了解这个 Chia Network， 同时是帮助这个社区解决一些底层的一些技术问题。
Okay, could you please explain about the Chia NFT standard and its roadmap?
Yeah, so we've split the NFT standard into two parts, NFT 0 and NFT 1.
现在 NFT standard 被分为2个部分，一个叫 NFT 0，一个叫NFT 1。
NFT 0 was released last month, which was just on testnet, which is primarily just for developers to test out.
NFT 0是上个月发出来的，然后它主要是为那个就是制作商发出来的，是为制作商制作的。
And pretty soon, in the next few weeks, we'll be releasing NFT 1, which will be the public standard, which will be available on mainnet.
几周以后会发布公众标准的 NFT 1，然后会对公众在主网上开放。
Okay, so we know the standard of Chia NFT through the website, but what's the difference between Chia NFT and the other NFT standard?
So the main two differences are provenance and royalties built into the actual blockchain itself.
所以最大的2个是一个是忠诚度，另外一个是出身，就是这2个是直接建设到了这个区块链的底层的这个代码里。
Provenance enables users to actually trace the origins of NFTs to check that they are legitimate.
出身是被用作出身的用法是用来去追踪这个 NFT 的制作方，来确保它是那个他所说的那个人做的。
And royalties enables the original artist or creator of the NFTs to continue to receive royalty payments in the future.
忠诚的这个部分就是保证这个艺术家能持续的获得未来交易的一个交易费用。
And a big advantage is that the royalties and the provenance are not coded in smart contracts like on Ethereum. They're actually part of the blockchain itself.
最大的优势就是我刚才提到的这2个，一个是忠诚，一个是出身，这2个东西并不是在 智能合约中一部分，而是作为区块链底层逻辑的一部分被写到了区块链里。
OK， 那个小金，我们中文讲那个忠诚那个叫版税，
版税哦，不好意思。
对，OK， so we heard that like in Ethereum NFT, the royalty division is controlled by the marketplace like OpenSea. Is that right?
The royalties, or do you
Yes.
mean the marketplace fees?
The royalty. If I
Yeah.
issue an NFT on open market or on the OpenSea marketplace, I cannot control the royalty, but only the marketplace itself.
Yeah, so on Chia, this is different. The royalty is controlled by the person who creates the NFT, and then there's no way for the marketplace to change that royalty fee afterwards. So you can set the royalty fee to a percentage, and that percentage can be sent to one person, or it can be distributed to multiple parties.
的确如此，在 Chia Network 上，这个它的这个版税是可以是没有办法被第三方所操控的，它是你可以选择去发送到一个对应的地址，或者是多个对应的地址里去，然后由这个制作方来决定。
So the royalty is controlled by the percentage. Could it be controlled by the time? For example, I want to change the rules 1 year later, or 3 months later.
Yeah, at this time in NFT 1 standard, that's not possible, but it's certainly possible in the future because the royalties are controlled by a DID, a decentralized identifier, and the decentralized identifier could possibly update the royalty percentage in the future, but this would require a change to the standard.
目前在 NFT 1的标准下，这个是不太现实的，但是在未来的话，肯定是能做到的。然后，但这个是对要求在代码层面上进行一个更新，然后未来的新的标准一定会有的。这个是跟那个去中心化的这个 ID 有关系的。
就是 DID 哈。
DID 对。
Okay. So how would Chia to store the images? It's on the IPFS or a data layer?
So at the moment, you can store any URI, so pretty much any scheme, but the common ones that the marketplaces and the wallets will support are expected to be HTTP and IPFS. Those will be the most common, but you can put others in there.
你现在可以储存任何形式的 URL， 然后但是最常见的是 HTTP 和 IPFS。
So could you please explain more about the data layer? Is it possible in the future to use as the storage of the NFT data?
Yeah, so data layer is a new technology we're working on, which is it's a way to continue to use existing traditional databases and to store a verification of the database on the Chia blockchain.
数据中心这个数据层它是被用作would you mind to say that again? I didn't really.
Yes, the data layer. So it's a way to use an existing traditional database offline, and then to store a verification of that data on the Chia blockchain.
OK， 它是 data layer 基本上就是将原有的数据本地的数据去进行一个网络分化式的一个存储。
And so yeah, the advantage of this is that you can have large amounts of data without the data being on the blockchain. You can have many terabytes of data offline and still trustlessly verify that data on the
blockchain. OK, got it. So 它的好处是什么呢？是你可以在不占用大量的这个链上资源的情况下进行链下存储， 比如你可以存储好几个TB 的资源在链下，然后用区块链来验证这一部分的信息，来保证它的安全性。
Okay. But we know that some Chia NFT projects like Marvelous, they store the pictures on a Chia blockchain. Is that possible, or it's just a story?
It's possible, but it's a limited amount of data that you'll be able to store. You're not going to have some of the advantages of some of these other projects as well, and following the standard in terms of the fact that all the different marketplaces and wallets will support one standard. So it's possible, but there's not much reason to do it that way.
这是可能的，但是链上存储其实是相对效率较低的，所以说它的意义性并不能被证明，所以说它相对来讲是没有太大意义的。
Okay, as the NFT standard coming out very soon, we are more care about the marketplace. So how's the marketplace working? Will it charge for some mint fee, or it's free for creators?
Yeah, so this isn't, unlike the royalty fees, this isn't something where we haven't implemented a marketplace fee into the actual NFT standard itself.
它跟版税不一样，我们并没有将这部分放到代码层面上，放到这个要求中。
So it's completely down to the marketplaces to decide themselves if
所
they
以
want to charge a fee.
完全由这个市场来决定他们是否要收这部分费用。
Mm-hmm.
And the marketplaces we're seeing develop so far, some have fees and some don't have fees. So
目前
there'll
来
be
看
different
的话
options.，
目前来看的话，有一部分有费用，另外一部分没有费用，所以说这是完全就是可选的。
Okay, so we know that NFT is very good for artists or the creators to protect their royalty, but how to prevent the faked artworks or the copies to trading on Chia?
So one of the key advantages is, as I mentioned, provenance. So this will enable people to more easily identify the original creator of the works and to verify that it's coming from that creator.
其中一个办法就是用之前说到的这个 provenance， 也就是出身的东西，就是你可以利用区块链的技术去追踪这个东西的出身，也就相当于制作者，从而了解从而了解这个东西是否是真的，就是 NFT 是否是真的。
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's possible, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so even though it's possible to still mint the copied image, a user or the marketplace would be able to identify that it's not coming from the correct DID.
尽管你仍然可以去复制这个 NFT， 但是呢，市场是可以轻易的认知到这幅 NFT 你所复制的这幅 NFT 是假的。
Okay. So talking about the DID, the DID will publish together with the NFT standard?
Yeah, that's right. In a few weeks, the DIDs will be available and able to mint the NFTs. And in the future, there'll be additional updates to DID functionality.
是的 ，NFT 和 NFT1和 DID 在未来的几周都会一起出来，并且在未来会有额外的DID 的一些功能会被开发出来。
So the DID, I'm a little bit confused. The DID equals to KYC or not? How to prove I am myself?
Yeah, so a DID, no KYC is required, but KYC is something that could be linked to a DID if a user wanted to in the future, or they can verify other things such as their social media profiles and things like that. But these are additions that would be added to the standard in the future.
它和 KYC 的最大区别就是它并不是完全它不是一个需求，你可以去用 KYC 去验证你的 DID， 但是你也可以通过别的一些东西，比如说你的社交媒体的一个账户来去验证去作为你 DID 的一个验证方式。
Okay, so we heard the rumor. I don't know if it's a rumor or not. Chia, we will publish official NFT. Is that true?
It's definitely a possibility. So keep your eyes on the Chia Twitter account. We're looking at doing something interesting with the holiday tokens as well, the CH21 holiday tokens. So there's a possibility that we'll do some kind of NFT launch with that as well.
这一定是这很可能是一个选项，就是未来很可能会发出这个东西，然后大家要关注一下 Share 的这个 Twitter， 然后这个未来发出的这个可能发出这个官方的 NFT 很可能跟过去发的这个 CH21 有关系。
就是给矿工的那个 CH21 是吧？
对对。
Okay. So that will come out together with the Chia store. We expect it for a long time, or not? You know, we expecting you sell the T-shirts or caps with Chia logo on that.
Yeah, the Chia store I'm not so sure about, but yeah, maybe you'll be getting virtual T-shirts before you get the real T-shirts.
Okay.
你可能会先收到一个虚拟的那个 T 恤，然后才会收到真的 T 恤，但是应该会存在。
Now the NFT is pretty hot in our community and also globalized. But how will you describe the NFT ecosystem now in Chia about the scale and the liquidity?
Yeah, so the liquidity is not there yet because we're still on testnet. But there's definitely a wide range of projects that I've seen so far.
目前来看的话，仍然没有可变现性，因为我们还是测试网。然后，但是我们现在已经看到了很多项目。
From the launch day, there'll be multiple options for marketplaces, multiple NFT collections. Plus, you also have the option to directly trade people NFTs through offers as well.
现在已经看到了很多项目和很多方式去购买这些东西，然后包括跟人与人之间的这个直接的这个交易。
So it's a kind of we can exchange NFT P2P like the offer, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we can exchange by NFT, CAT, and XCH freely.
Yeah, you'll be able to do any combination. So you can offer XCH plus 2 different cats for 2 different types of NFT, for example.
你想怎么样操作都行，你甚至可以做一个融合，比如说一定数量的那个 XCH 加上两种别的一些 Chia asset token， 就是线上的这个别的一些币子。
So we know there are lots of NFT projects already coming out. Personally, do you have any favorite NFT projects, or do you hold some of them?
I don't have any favorites. I'm not sure if I should have any favorites, but I can say there's some really interesting artwork that I've seen. I am actually a big fan of NFTs myself, so I'm very excited to see some of these projects come out. But it may take some time for some of the kind of larger, well-known artists to launch on Chia. That may take a while.
我本身就是一个 NFT 的一个粉丝，然后那个我没有一个特别喜欢的 NFT， 但是它确实 很喜欢这个现在已经存在的一些艺术，但虽然现在目前来看的话，在链上并没有一些大的一些项目方在发一些已经很有名的 NFT， 但是未来的话，可能这个是可以被预期的。
So many developers in China try to learn Chia Lisp, but it feels very hard to start. Do you have any suggestion on that?
Yeah, I think the important way is to have a mixture of reading the documentation and trying out example code at the same time.
最好的方式就是在看 Chia 的 documents Chia 的文件，同时自己去做一些尝试，也做两个一起混合着去做。
If you just try to read the documentation and to understand how the Chia list works, it can be quite difficult to understand. So it's important to keep trying to run example applications as well.
如果你只去读文档的话，它可能会相对来说难一些。所以说，更重要的是两个的一起结合。你在读的同时，要去尝试一些你所学到的东西。
So I know it needs practice, but will Chia officially issue some training courses or classes online so we can easily to learn?
Yeah, but so far our documentation it's more technical, but we've got a big focus at the moment on developing tutorials which are easier to follow.
现在来看的话，我们的文档还是非常技术性，但是我们现在确实将那个主要目标放到了这个去发展一个这个就是引导式的一个文档上。
We're also going to be producing a lot more programming videos and going to be running some workshops in person as well.
我们也会在未来发出更多的这个就是编程的一些视频，然后可能会未来还会有一些workshop 之类，就是类似于就是叫课程，不太确定这个东西，不好意思。
Okay. As the developer relationship engineer, how would you support the developers in China?
So I think the primary method is to actually talk to individual projects and to see what they need. Obviously.
Oh, sorry. 最好的方式就是跟每一个项目方去聊，然后看看他们需要什么东西。
In our experience, the developers in China are very good at reading the documentation and understanding it. So our main role is that we need to talk individually to the developers and see if they need any help.
在我的理解中，中国的那个这些开发者们，他们在读文档上都非常非常厉害，所以在他看来的话，每一个去单独聊的话，可能会更重要一些。
Okay. So we know that Chia will lock the pre-farm XCH. When will that be happen?
I can't provide a date on it, but I can say we're in the company now. We're actively testing the pre-farm, the custody code.
我不能为你提供一个准确的时间，但是我可以跟你讲，整个公司内部正在测试这个东西。
Okay, that's kind of yeah. 他说的是不会太久哈。So that custody technology can we use for our wallet? Like we need a multi-signature wallet, or for a group, or for a DAO, something like that.
Yeah. So initially, we will launch the code, and it will be available for others to use on the command line.
我们会那个就是把我们的代码发出去，然后你在那个就是command line， 就是那个指控台上你是可以操作的这个东西。
命令行，我们这边叫命令行。
命令行，对。
And after that, we do have plans to have a graphical version available, which could be part of the Chia wallet or maybe a separate application.
我们确实有想去做一个就是可交互的一个页面，它可能会成为 Chia 的wallet，它可能会成为 Chia 的那个钱包的一部分，或者是一个额外的一个程序，这个还没定。
So do you have anything to speak to China farmers and the nodes, farm nodes in China?
Well, the
Because
main
we
thing
worry
is
about the price.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. It's amazing to see the map of the nodes, how many there are in China, how much support we have all around the world. It's amazing, and I'm one of those people as well that will never shut my node down.
对于我们而言，看到中国有如此多的这个权益点，是一个非常非常不可思议的事情。然后我认为中国的这些矿主，也就是 farmer 农民们，然后做的非常非常棒。然后我认为也，如果以现在来看的话，把他们关掉也是不可能一个事情。
Yeah. But we know, as I know, some farmers are selling their hard drive. They are selling their farms, but some farmers keep buying the second-hand farm. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think
how about yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the profitability, of course, goes down when the market goes down. But I think it's encouraging to see so many people that believe in the project a lot, because the node count really hasn't dropped that much.
当市场下降的时候，利润率一定会下降。然后对于我们来说，能看到这个权益点数量并没有形成一个大量的下降，这是一个非常鼓舞的一件事情。
So, could you please more introduce the difference between Chia POST with POW and POS?
Yeah, so I'm sure you're probably all quite familiar with proof of work already, and proof of space and time is quite.
大家可能对于这个工作量证明的这个机制已经非常熟悉了。
And proof of space and time, it's more closely aligned to proof of work in that it provides computation.
POST 它跟这个 POW 来讲的话，它更相近一些。然后它是提供了这个计算。
The main innovation with proof of space and time is it does some of this computation in advance, essentially, and verifies that through VDFs.
POST 对于相比于 POW 最大的一个提升就是它提前将很多计算算好，并且用 verifiable 就是叫什么可验证的一个延迟性的一个功能来去验证这个东西。算好的。
Because the computation is done ahead of time, it essentially will then, the longer that you run the farm for, the more energy you will save compared to proof of work.
相比于工作量证明的话，因为我们的算的这个结果是已经算好的，所以你所跑的这个机器的时间越长的话，你相比于这个工作量证明，你所节约的电费其实是越高的。
And proof of stake, since no actual computation is required, it's only actually money that has to be set aside. It's inevitably leads to less decentralization.
因为 proof of stake 也就是权益量证明，它是那个没有计算在其中的，所以说真正决定它的这个大小的是金钱的数量，也就是不可避免的去阻止它的这个去中心化。
就更中心化，是这意思吧？
Is it gonna be? Do you mean like it's gonna be more centralized?
Proof of stake essentially,
yeah.
becomes more centralized, yeah.
不可避免的 proof of stake 它最后一定会变得更加中心化。
But in Chia, the plotting is very consuming job. Don't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why the longer you run your farm, the more energy savings that you are committing. If you're only going to run your farm for 2 or 3 months, then the energy savings compared to proof of work aren't as much. But if your farm is running for the long term, then you reap the benefits.
是的，我确实这么认为，但是这就是为什么我刚才说的，就是你的这个矿机跑的就是你的农场跑的时间越长呢，你相对于工作量证明你所节约的电能是越多的。如果你只跑2、3个月的话，你可能节约的电能并不会那么多。但如果你长期的去跑的话，你相比于工作量证明，你所节约的电能应该是非常高的。
So Chia has been researching the cloud plotting for a while, for a long time, I think. So now it's practical. We can buy the service somewhere.
So could you explain that again? Sorry, Claude plotting?
It's I mean we plot on the cloud by the like Akashi, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
So I would
popular?
Yeah, so I'd probably call that plotting as a service, I think is the term I've heard. It's something we are working with some service providers to provide that. But the kind of plotting, how would I describe it? Marketplace has sort of reached a sort of equilibrium in a way, I suppose is the word, where there are some plotting as a service products out there, but you do require some trust in the way that they're performed, whether that's handing your keys over or things like that. So there aren't any really secure services that provide plotting as a service at the moment. So the recommended route is to plot yourself.
确实在网络上有很多这个这个讲的叫这个就是
云批盘，叫云批
盘。然后这个云批盘呢，它确实是一个已经存在的一个东西，但是目前来看的话，市场上并没有一个非常安全的方式去做这个东西。然后大量的这个云批盘都是需要你去提供你个人的一些比如说密钥啊什么之类的东西。所以说现在目前这一刻所推荐的方式是自己来批。
Okay, so that's all questions I have now. So now it's time for our community members. If anyone have any question, you can open your mic and ask them directly. 大家今天的这个Will 他回答问题很快啊，也很简洁，所以时间比我预估的要短很多。现在大家可以问问题了，就是在座的各位小伙伴，如果有什么问题，今天正好小金也在，可以帮大家更准确的去翻译，好吧？有问题的可以打开麦克风直接问，用中文问也可以。
I see one in the chat. 那个 chat 里边就是那个里边有个人问那个 IPO 是什么时候 So there's someone asking when's the IPO? Of course.
Yes. Yeah, soon. I'm afraid I don't know any more than you about that.
我想我懂的应该不比你多。
Soon
TM, yeah. Someone in the chat's right. Soon TM.
So Will, what are you like developing now? Like bridging developing like now?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot on the things like the tooling, the development tools, making those easier to use for developers. Really boring things like getting better error messages back from the tools and things like that.
它相当于他是在开发工具的，这工具是让这个 开发者更好的去用他们的这个东西，用他们的这个服务。然后这个 next question is I want to write a novel. Every chapter need to be verified by NFT. Is that possible?
Every chapter.
Every chapter, yes.
Yeah, so there are interesting things you can do, particularly you can use NFTs without DIDs, for example, without the inner puzzle that controls the NFT, and you can use it for a wide variety of things. So you can build on top of what the NFTs can do. So yeah, there's a wide range of things that you can do with NFTs.
你用 NFT 能做的事情很多，这个的确是 NFT 可以做的一件事情。你可以选择去用 DID， 就 decentralized 去中心化的 ID 去做，你也可以选择不用这个东西去做。How's Chia's decentralized finance? How do you say that? Like
mortgage.
Yeah. So DeFi, like staking, I'll say.
Staking,
like
yes.
Yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, so the key kind of technology there for just all sorts of DeFi applications is AMMs, automated market makers, because you need those to be able to build large amounts of liquidity in the market.
所以现在来看的话，最核心的对于 DeFi 来讲，就是第三去中心化的这个财政来讲，最中心的这个技术就是 AMM， 就是自动化的一个市场的一个制作者，然后这个才能有了这个，它才有可能去提供大量的这个可变现性。
And yeah, AMMs aren't something that we're looking to build ourselves at this time, but I can say there are multiple projects that are working on that themselves.
现在这一刻的话，就是自动化的一个市场制作方不是我们正在自己做的一个东西。我可以跟你说的是，现在有几方正在一同去做这个东西。
是的，我知道的就好几个，AMM 正在这个开发。
Okay, so when's the plot compressing gonna be out?
Plot compression. I'm not quite sure on that. That's not my area, but I know I've seen some early results, and it's really good stuff. I think it's around the kind of 1% to 2% sort of range in terms of the compression it gets, which isn't a huge percentage, but if you've got a large farm, then it can make a difference.
我不是，就是这个不是我正在忙的一些事情，然后但是现在我已经看到了一些初步的一些结果，就是大概你可以预期的大概是1%到2%的一个压缩比例，然后如果你是很小的一个矿场的话，可能不会产生一个特别大影响，但如果你很大的话，那么它可能带来的提升可能会蛮多的。Is there like a standardized developing tool already? And because I saw.
I think he's talking about the cloud.
Akash.
That's the developing environment. That's what he's talking about.
Oh,
for Chia list.
Gobi. Okay.
Yes.
So is there a fully functional, a fully functional standardized developing tool?
Yes, we have some development tools like the CLVM tools and Chia Dev tools, which are tools which were developed for us to use ourselves, but they're ones which are now used by the community.
我们有之前为自己做了一些像 CLVM 啊，然后类似的工具，然后一开始是给我们自己做的，然后慢慢的就是给市场去做，给市场去用。然后
we want to extend that into a wider development environment, so that, for example, you could just download a virtual machine and have all the tools ready to go.
我们将在未来，我们希望将在未来能把这个东西做得更宽更广一些。然后比如说未来你可以下载一个开发者工具，然后里边带包含这些东西。So there's a lot of like on-chain staking we have seen a lot of like risk about regarding to on-chain staking in the past. Is there a solution for Chia to avoid that?
Yeah, I think with on-chain staking, it tends to be the services that implement that in the smart contracts rather than some of the chains that have staking built into the chain, if that makes sense.
你所说的这个链上质押，可能并不是链上质押，而是在链上的一个智能合约中的一部分的，就是 term， 就是这叫什么条件里边的所产生质押。如果我没理解错，也是这个意思吧？
So really, if when AMMs are available and people do build staking on Chia, then the main kind of difference there is that you don't have smart contracts where people can analyze the code to look for vulnerabilities.
当这个 AI automated 自动化的市场，这叫什么？自动化的市场，这个自动做市商被做出来以后，会有would you mind to repeat that part, Will? Like
yeah, so a lot of the staking protocols and things like that implemented in smart contracts, people can look for vulnerabilities in the smart contract code. Whereas if you were implementing something this on top of AMMs, the puzzles themselves wouldn't necessarily be open to the same kind of exploits.
Ah, that's new. Okay, so 你现在目前看的话，很多的这些就是这些容易出错的一些原因的和这些易被攻击的方向，往往是那些因为一些智能合约产生的。但如果你把这个东西放到这个自动做市商之上去做的话，就会避免掉很多这个智能合约，避免掉很多这个个体去向智能合约去查找这个智能合约中的这个那个弱点的一个这个事情。So with Chia's offer ability, what's the difference between with Chia's offer ability and Uniswap's liquidity? Uniswap's liquidity AMM. Wait a second. Let me just. So what's the difference between Chia's offer ability and the Uniswap's AMM liquidity? What's the advantage and disadvantages?
So the disadvantages of using offers are you don't obviously have the same liquidity. You need to find someone who wants to match the exact same offer.
缺点是 offer 的功能它并不能给你提供这个可变现性，你需要去找这个对方去接收的这个人。
But obviously with offers you don't have a fee. You just directly trade with someone. You don't have to rely on the Uniswap service.
那这个好处的话也是显而易见的，就是你不需要去交一部分费用，因为你是直接跟人去交易的，所以你不需要去依赖这个 Uniswap 的这个功能。
But when offers are built on top of AMMs in Chia, then theoretically you could get the best of both worlds.
在理论上来讲的话，当 offers 就是当那个这个买卖这个叫什么？这个叫合约吗 ？offers。
offer 就是按道理就是我提供的一份合约
对，
要进行交换的合约。
对，
但是我们不太好翻，就叫 offer 了。
OK， 当这个买卖的这个 offers 在 AMM 基础之上做的话，就是在自动做市商的基础上做的话， 你 most likely 你最可能是会获得2个优势，也就是之前说的这个拥有这个 Uniswap 的这个流动性以及这个 offer 的这个不需要这个交易费用的这个优势。Is it possible for AMM to have backdoors?
It's difficult to say because we're not developing them ourselves. They've been developed by different projects in the community.
这个很难讲，因为这不是我们自己做的，而是这个社区中的大家来做的。How do you how do you see the Chia price now?
I don't see it. My best advice is to not look at it.
我基本上不看这个价格。Except the 24 words, do you consider like to develop another way to recover your wallet as a backup plan? So a lot of people may already for some reason lost their 24 words. For example, like me, I have like a bunch of wallets, but my like 24 words are logged and stored in different computers.
Yeah, I think the main thing missing there is hardware key support, which is I think one of the I'm not sure if it's a ledger key or one that's close to being released will have the BLS signature support. So we're quite close to hardware keys having support.
这个最大的原因是因为我们没有硬件钱包，但是我们现在正在开发的一个硬件钱包已经快面世了，里边就有 BLS key， 然后你可以用那个东西。然后I think that's it. I don't see any else. 我好像没有了。
刚才有一个 Aaron 提到的这个问题，其他链上的 NFT 会被第三方操控吗？就是在其他链上。对。
Okay. Is it possible for NFT to be controlled by a third party on other chains?
To be controlled on another chain?
Is
transferred?
it possible for NFT to be controlled by a third party on other chains other than Chia?
I don't quite know what they mean by on another chain, whether they mean through a bridge, transferred through a bridge, or
no either. Like 你这个他这个问题没太听懂，他说是这个你这个别的链是什么意思？是另外一个是通过一个桥梁来去控制吗？还是说的是这个别的一个链条？
是不太清楚。Aaron， 你可以直接打开麦克来问一下，就解释一下，可不可以？因为打文字有时候不太明白是什么意思。
好的，那个，因为我刚才听那个刚开始的时候听那个 Will 说啊，就是起亚链上的 NFT 啊，不容易被其他的那个第三方操纵，所以说我就反问一下，就是其他链上难道是容易被操纵吗？
So he heard you said is on Chia is really hard to be controlled. I mean NFT is really hard to be controlled. Is it like, do you mean like it's easier to be controlled on the other chains?
No, I wouldn't say difficult to be controlled because
not controlled, actually manipulated.
Yeah. Okay. To be manipulated by in terms of malicious activity and things like that.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think the good thing with DIDs is you can basically set your own policy on how many keys and how many people have to be required to access it to recover the NFT. So you could have with the DID, you could lose 1 or 2 keys and still be able to access the NFT.
DID 的一个好处就是说，你可以去控制获取这个 NFT 的这个先决条件，你可以丢1、2个钥匙，然后还能去拿到这个 NFT。
但是现在那个
Sorry, carry on.
Go ahead.
我刚才想说，就是现在其他链上也有 DID 的这个开发，这个和我们起亚的 DID 有什么区别吗？
So there's also DIDs in other chains. What's the difference between the DID on Chia and DID on other chains?
Essentially, it's a similar kind of implementation, but some are obviously implemented in smart contracts, whereas we've actually implemented it at the protocol level. There are some which do have DID support at the protocol level. Some you obviously get the general advantages of Chia as well in terms of sustainability and things like that. So yeah.
所以说现在的其实来讲的话，跟别的链条上来讲的话，光在 DID 这个 level 上是这个层次上应该是差不多的，但是区别在于有一些别的链条它将 DID 放到了这个智能合约里，而 Chia 它将 DID 放到了这整个的这个就是应该是说代码层面上去，然后呢，就是我们并不是在说，就是只有 Chia 把它放到了这个代码层面上，也有一些别的链条把它放在代码层面，但是这个绝对不是一个普遍的现象。
哦，但我们的就是我的意思就是我们Chia 的 DID 有什么优势吗？相对其他的链条
Is there any advantages like for Chia's DID compared to others DIDs except it's built into the protocol level?
There'll be advantages definitely in the future. We can't roll everything out onto DIDs at once because it's too difficult for the ecosystem, the marketplaces to support that many features. So at the moment, the DID is kind of like a basic building block.
OK， 在现在这一刻来看的话，我们所做出来的这个 DID 的话，应该会成为一个非常非常基础的一个东西。然后在未来来看的话，我们一定会将更多的功能去做到这个 DID 里边去。但是如果一开始就把这很多功能去做的这里面去的话，对于市场来讲的话，它是非常难以去接受并且去运用的。
But at the moment, because you have other advantages in Chia, like offers, for example, you can do P2P trading of NFTs that are owned by DIDs. So all these features kind of link in together.
现在这一刻的话，你可以用一些 P2P 的方式去交易这个 NFT。现在这些功能全部被这个联系在一起。Will Chia official Chia network support some of the NFT project and some of the will okay will Chia network like support some of the NFT and the exchange to be like the standard for the industry?
We're not going to officially support any, I don't think, but we will provide like some links from the Chia wallet to marketplaces, so it makes it easier to view your NFTs on different services.
我们没有打算去扶持一些 NFT 项目和这个交易所，但是我们会在未来的话会将这官方的这个应该是说在官方的一些渠道里面放一些链接。Next question is how long is the financial what's the financial status of the company, like any like further like round plan?
Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to speak about that. I don't know any plans for IPO and things like that, but yeah, I know we do have blogs over things like that, different topics other people talk about that. So yeah, I'm probably not the best person.
对于我来说，可能对我并不太适合讲这个东西。我像 IPO 一样，我不知道 IPO 的最新进展也是一样的。可能你需要问一些别的这个方面人。然后这方面的话，在市场上有很多的这个已经存在的这个消息。Will like music NFT standard will be on like chain soon? We know that Jin have the e-music background.
Yeah, that's definitely a use case that we are looking at, because we're looking to kind of target the standard towards different use cases in the industry, and music is definitely a big one of those.
这确实是我们未来的一个可能会做的一个事情。然后，我们在看很多的，目前来看的话，我们在瞄准很多的这个行业，然后音乐行业一定是其中之一。Does like COVID have any affection to your work and company development?
No, I don't think so, because we're a fully remote team. So I only joined more recently, but since I joined, there's been no effect at all, really. I don't think.
我不认为全那个远程工作对我们公司有太大影响。虽然说我是最近加进来的，但是从我加进来开始到现在是没有产生过什么影响的。
OK，我想今天的这个开放式提问也很多了啊。我再问一个最后的问题吧。我们今天也就差不多1个小时了。这个
There's gonna be the last question and then it's gonna be concluded.
So we know that Chia NFT will developed by different industry. Like the first one is the fine art, maybe the second one is for the music. So I'm very interested about the games. Do you have the plan to have that standard for DeFi games?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the focus market verticals. I can't give any product information on when that could be in terms of date, but from a personal point of view, I think game assets and achievements and things like that are a really good use case for NFTs.
这一定是我们公司内部的一个集中的一个方向。但是我不能跟你讲太多细节。但是从我个人来讲的话，这个游戏产业已经成为这个 NFT 的一部分了，所以说这个是一定会有的。
OK， So 我看这个问题开放的也差不多了。我想今天也是周六，Will 也是挤出时间。实际上小金也是这个现在是他半夜，因为跟咱们的时差是12个小时，他在纽约嘛，现在是凌晨啊，也很辛苦，所以我觉得今天的 AMA 差不多到此就可以结束了。Okay, thank you very much, Will Rich and Bernard Jean. Thank you guys, and we are looking forward to talk with you guys again very soon. And we hope Chia will develop better and better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
好，各位小伙伴，那么今天的 AMA 就到此结束了啊。感谢大家的参与，谢谢，祝大家周末愉快，拜拜。
周末愉快，再见大家，再见。
拜拜拜拜，以后小金会经常来我们这儿啊。
好。
好，拜拜拜拜。